Hi, my name's Sue and this is Sue Maree P. Christmas is almost around the corner and I thought I'd share an old favourite. It's a spiced sultana or raisin muffin. I'm going to do it with raisins today. And I make it with my favourite spelt flour, but you can do any flour that you like. It's just made in one pot and then we scoop it out and pop it into our muffin tin. So let's get mixing. So I'm using my little electric hob here, just so I can show you close up. I've got 150 grams of unsalted butter, or 2/3 of a cup. We just mix everything together into this pot, and I've got some dark brown sugar. So I've got 1 cup or 160 grams of brown sugar. I'm using dark brown sugar, but you can use light brown sugar. We've got 1 cup of water, or 250 mils. And I've got 300 grams or 1.5 cups of raisins. And you can use sultanas or currants or a combination of both, or all three. So we just need to let all of that butter melt down and the sugar dissolve. So in the meantime, while you're waiting for that, grab your muffin tray. And today I've decided to just grease the base with butter instead of using the paper cases. But if you've got some special like little Christmassy paper cases, you can use those. And we add 2 eggs, some spices. We've got some whole grain spelt flour here. We've got 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda or bicarb soda, 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, and I've got 1 teaspoon each of ground cinnamon, mixed spice and ginger. So this will take a few minutes. Just bump the heat up a little bit. Oh, the other thing you should do as well is prep your oven. So you need to pop your oven onto 160 degrees C, and I'll pop the Fahrenheit measurement above. I've got a fan, so it's a fan forced oven, and just get that preheated so it's nice and warm to put your muffins into. So I thought I'd bring you closer, you can see what this is doing. This might take about 5 minutes or so for this to bubble down and melt down. And while I'm waiting, I'm going to crack my eggs into this bowl. So I have 2 large eggs. So I can turn that off because our butter's all melted and our sugar's dissolved. But I'm just going to let it cool down a little bit because I don't want to scramble my eggs. So I've allowed a few minutes for my raisin mixture to cool down. So now I'm going to throw in the beaten eggs. And then I've got my flour here. So I'm going to sift that in. And as I said, you can do any type of flour that you like. So that was 300 grams. And I've got 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, teaspoon of baking soda, and I've got all my spices. I just realised that I usually put the spices in with the sugar raisin mix, but I forgot. So I'm just sifting them through. So you can do it at either stage. Sometimes I have my recipe written up and then as I'm doing the video, I'm talking away and change the order, which it often doesn't really matter. Just going to stop halfway and give it a stir. I love this recipe because it's all in one pot. And if you're new here today and you're visiting, welcome. Thanks for clicking on and consider subscribing. I do a lot of recipes with spelt flour and buckwheat flour, and I love doing things that are easy enough for you to do at home. So I'll keep sifting this through. I find doing the last bit with the whisk is so much easier instead of bashing my hand. I'm just blending this all together. So because I hadn't made my recipe for ages, I did a test bake a few weeks ago and I totally forgot to add the water and they tasted disgusting. So I had to throw them all out. So make sure you pop the water in. Okay, I'm just going to transfer my spoon to my spatula. Make sure I've got all the flour combined. Next step, we scoop it into our buttered muffin tin. And I'm going to use my ice cream scoop just because it's easier to get even cakes. And I'll do 1 scoop per patty. And we may have leftovers because I prefer smaller little muffins than big ones. And I definitely will need a second tray. So I'm going to bake these for 25 to 30 minutes. I'm going to keep an eye on them at 25 minutes. And if they're ready, I'll take them out. Because I don't want my tops to brown too much, I've placed my rack on the lower third position of the oven and not the middle shelf. I'll keep making these and we'll come back and do a little taste test. So we're back with our little spiced raisin muffins and they're all cooked. So I've just helped this second tray out with my little spatula and it's been about 10 minutes since they've been out of the oven. So I'm just releasing them. Because I made little ones today, they only took 20 minutes. So just adjust your timing depending on how big you make them. Now these usually store well in a sealed container for about 2 weeks and they freeze for about 3 months. They're so light, fluffy and moist. I've even started eating one already. So I'll continue doing little taste tests. These taste so good. I love the raisins. They're a little bit fatter than sultanas, so they give like a nice fruity plump pop into your mouth. And the advantage of not adding the paper is the bottom goes a little bit crunchy, which I love, and you don't have to fuss with getting the paper off. Yum, yum, yum. I'll adjust my recipe notes to say make it 20 minutes if they're smaller. Let me know if you try this recipe and what you think of it. Give it the thumbs up. Don't forget, consider subscribing if you're new here today and share this recipe with a friend. And let me know what your favourite Christmas recipe is. If you've got any requests, I've got about, 5 or 6 weeks to get something out to you for Christmas. And if there's anything that you really love me to make for you, let me know in the comments below and I'll see if I can do it for you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.